The champagne tasted like betrayal. Elena stood in the marble lobby of Sterling Tower, divorce papers still warm in her purse. 5 years of marriage dissolved that morning while David packed his things. While he moved in with Rebecca, her best friend since college. The charity gala hummed 40 floors above her. Crystal chandeliers. Designer gowns. Men in tuxedos who moved through the world like they owned it. She smoothed her black dress. The one she'd bought for last year's anniversary. The anniversary David forgot because he was too busy with Rebecca. The betrayal sat in her chest like a stone. She spotted Marcus Knight immediately. He stood by floor-to-ceiling windows, surrounded by admirers but somehow alone. At 35, he was everything the tabloids said. Devastatingly handsome. Ruthlessly brilliant. Completely untouchable. His company had just killed the community arts program that kept her neighborhood alive. 300 children without music lessons. Without theater. Without hope. All because the building wasn't profitable enough. Elena moved through the crowd with purpose. Her heels clicked against marble. Her heart hammered. She'd lost everything today. What was one more burn? Mr. Knight. He turned. Storm gray eyes assessed her in one sweep. Yes? Elena Thorne. I'm here about the Riverside Arts Center. She kept her voice steady. The one your company is demolishing next month. Something flickered in his expression. Miss Thorne. I've read your emails. All 23 of them. He took a sip of his drink. The building is structurally unsound. Renovation costs exceed its value. It's a business decision. It's a community. Her voice rose. Heads turned. She didn't care. Those kids need that space. We have funding proposals. Volunteer commitments. Architectural plans. You dismissed everything without a meeting. Marcus stepped closer. He smelled like expensive cologne and winter air. I don't take meetings that waste my time. Waste your time? Elena laughed, bitter and sharp. Right. Because deciding the fate of 300 children takes what? 5 minutes of your precious schedule? His jaw tightened. You know nothing about my schedule or my decisions. I know you'd rather build luxury condos than preserve something that matters. And you'd rather throw tantrums at charity events than understand how the real world works. The words hit like a slap. Elena felt something crack wide open. All the grief from David. All the rage from Rebecca. All the exhaustion from fighting a system designed to crush people like her. It poured out in one moment of reckless clarity. You're right. Her voice dropped, dangerous. I don't understand your world. I don't understand how someone with everything can look at people with nothing and feel justified taking the last thing they have. Marcus stared at her. The ballroom fell silent. Security. 2 men in suits materialized. Elena didn't resist as they guided her toward the elevator. But she turned back one last time, locking eyes with Marcus Knight across the glittering room. You'll regret this. Not a threat. A promise. His expression was unreadable. But something in those gray eyes looked almost like recognition. The elevator doors closed. Elena's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Monday. 9 a.m. My office. Come alone. MK. She stared at the message as the elevator plummeted downward. What game was Marcus Knight playing? And why did part of her want to find out? Marcus Knight's office occupied the entire top floor of Sterling Tower. Elena stood in the reception area Monday morning, coffee growing cold in her hand. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city like a kingdom. She'd barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw David's face when she'd found him with Rebecca. Then Marcus's face at the gala. Cold and perfect and completely in control. Miss Thorne. His assistant appeared, professionally warm. Mr. Knight will see you now. The office was all glass and steel and ruthless efficiency. Marcus sat behind a desk that probably cost more than her car, reviewing documents with the same intensity he'd used to dismiss her Friday night. He looked up. Sit. Elena remained standing. I prefer to stand when I'm being patronized. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Coffee? No. Suit yourself. He closed the folder, giving her his full attention. Those gray eyes were even more unsettling in daylight. I have a proposition for you. I'm not interested in whatever game you're playing. It's not a game. He stood, moving to the windows. I need someone to run my new community development initiative. Someone who understands the neighborhoods we're working in. Someone who won't hesitate to call me out when I'm wrong. Elena stared at him. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you power. He turned to face her. Real power to make actual change. Starting salary is $200,000. Full benefits. Complete authority over project selection and budget allocation. The number made her dizzy. It was 4 times what she made at the nonprofit. Enough to save her apartment after the divorce. Enough to breathe. Why? Her voice came out rough. Why me? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Because Friday night you said something no one else has had the courage to say to my face in 10 years. He paused. And you were right. About what? About me. He moved closer. She could see the shadows under his eyes now. The exhaustion he hid behind expensive suits and cold smiles. I've spent a decade building an empire. Somewhere along the way, I forgot what it was for. Elena's throat tightened. This doesn't make sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. His voice dropped. Take the job, Elena. Save your art center. Save 100 more like it. Prove to me that caring about something is worth more than quarterly profits. She should walk away. This man had nearly destroyed everything she'd worked for. But something in his eyes looked broken in the same way she felt broken. Like they were both standing in ruins, trying to remember how to build. I have conditions. Name them. The Riverside Art Center stays. Full funding for renovation. Done. I report only to you. No middlemen. No committees. Agreed. And if you ever dismiss me the way you dismissed my proposals, I walk. With a public statement about why. Marcus extended his hand. Deal. She took it. His grip was warm, firm, and somehow felt like stepping off a cliff. When do I start? Now. He handed her a tablet. This is the West Side Housing Project. 200 families about to be displaced by a development deal my company brokered 6 months ago. Your first assignment is to find a solution that doesn't destroy their lives. Elena scrolled through the files. Her blood went cold. Marcus, this is impossible. The contracts are already signed. Construction starts in 3 weeks. Then you have 3 weeks. He leaned against his desk, arms crossed. Welcome to the real world, Miss Thorne. Doing the right thing means fighting for it every single day. She looked up at him. Really looked at him. And saw something she hadn't expected. Fear. He was afraid she'd fail. Afraid he'd made the wrong choice. Afraid she'd prove him right about everything. 2 weeks later, Elena wanted to throw her laptop through Marcus's office window. They're refusing to negotiate. She paced across the steel floor. The development company says the contracts are ironclad. The families have 30 days to vacate or face eviction. Marcus didn't look up from his phone. Then find another angle. There is no other angle. Her voice cracked. I've tried everything. Legal won't touch it. The city council is in their pocket. We're out of time. We're never out of time. He finally met her eyes. We're just out of easy options. Easy? Elena laughed, bitter. You think any of this has been easy? I've worked 18-hour days. I've begged, pleaded, compromised. And you sit there like it's a chess game. Something dangerous flashed in his expression. You think I don't care? I think you care about your reputation more than those families. The silence was sharp enough to draw blood. Marcus stood slowly. Deliberately. Get out. Excuse me? You heard me. Get out of my office. Elena grabbed her bag. Fine. But when those families lose their homes, remember this conversation. Remember that you had the power to stop it and chose not to. She was halfway to the door when he spoke. My mother lost her home when I was 8. Elena froze. Developers bought the building. Promised renovations. Instead, they tripled the rent and forced everyone out. His voice was flat. Empty. She worked 3 jobs trying to keep us afloat. Died of a heart attack when I was 12. Elena turned slowly. Marcus stood by the window, silhouette sharp against the dying light. I built this company to make sure that never happened to anyone else. And somewhere along the way, I became exactly what I hated. He looked at her. So don't tell me I don't care, Elena. I care so much it's killing me. Her throat tightened. Then help me save them. I am helping you. I'm teaching you that sometimes you have to destroy the board to win the game. What does that mean? Marcus pulled out his phone. Made a call. Daniel. It's Marcus. Remember that favor you owe me? I'm calling it in. He paused. I want you to buy the West Side development contracts. Tonight. Full price plus 20%. Another pause. Yes, I'm serious. And Daniel? If word of this leaks, I'll bury you. He hung up. Elena stared at him. You just bought the entire project? No. Daniel did. Tomorrow, you'll negotiate with him instead. He'll be much more reasonable. Marcus moved closer. But this stays between us. If anyone finds out I'm behind this, my board will have my head. They're already questioning my decisions. Why are you doing this? Because you're right. Because those families deserve better. Because maybe I'm tired of being the villain. They stood inches apart. The city glittered below them. And for the first time since David, Elena felt something other than rage. Thank you, she whispered. Marcus touched her face. Gentle. Careful. Like she might break. Don't thank me yet. You still have to close the deal. And Elena? His thumb traced her cheekbone. If you fail, we both lose everything. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I know what he did. Meet me at Harbor Cafe at 8. Come alone. You'll want to hear this. A friend. Elena's blood turned to ice. Someone knew about Marcus's secret deal. And they were about to destroy everything. The Harbor Cafe smelled like burnt coffee and betrayal. Elena sat in a corner booth, watching the door. Her hands shook around her cup. She'd told Marcus she had a migraine. Left early. The lie tasted like ash. At 8:05, Rebecca walked in. Elena's world tilted sideways. Hello, Elena. Rebecca slid into the booth, perfectly composed. Designer coat. Diamond ring that used to be Elena's grandmother's. Thanks for coming. Get out. Not until you hear what I have to say. Rebecca placed a folder on the table. I know about Marcus Knight's illegal deal. The contract buyout. The bribery. All of it. Elena's blood turned to ice. How? David works in acquisitions at Horizon Development. They were bidding on the West Side project before Marcus's friend mysteriously swooped in. Rebecca smiled. Sharp. Funny how these things work out. What do you want? I want you to understand something. Rebecca leaned forward. Marcus Knight is using you. This whole community development initiative? It's a PR stunt. He's planning to run for city council next year. He needs you to make him look good. You're lying. Am I? Rebecca pushed the folder across the table. Read it. Internal memos. Campaign strategy documents. You're literally listed as sympathetic face for community outreach. He's been planning this for months, Elena. Before he ever met you. Elena's hands trembled as she opened the folder. The documents were real. Detailed. Devastating. Every moment with Marcus. Every conversation. Every touch. All calculated. Why are you showing me this? Rebecca's expression softened. Almost pitying. Because despite everything, I still care about you. And I can't watch him destroy you the way David did. She paused. Walk away, Elena. Take the severance. Forget Marcus Knight. Move on with your life. And if I don't? Then I leak everything. Marcus goes to jail for corruption. His company collapses. And every family you're trying to save loses their chance because you were too stubborn to see the truth. Elena stared at the documents. At the evidence of Marcus's betrayal. At the choice that would destroy everything. I need time. You have 24 hours. Rebecca stood. I'm sorry it came to this. I really am. She left. Elena sat alone in the cafe, surrounded by the wreckage of her trust. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Where are you? We need to talk. There's something I should have told you. She stared at the message. Then she called him. Elena, thank God. Listen, I need to explain something about the initiative. About why I really hired you. I already know. Her voice was dead. Rebecca showed me everything. Silence. Then, where are you? Harbor Cafe. You should come. We need to talk. I'm on my way. Don't move. Elena, whatever she told you, it's not what you think. 20 minutes later, Marcus burst through the cafe door. He looked wild. Desperate. Nothing like the controlled billionaire from the gala. He sat across from her. It started as a campaign strategy, he said quietly. You're right. I was planning to run for council. I needed someone authentic. Someone the community trusted. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. But then I met you. And everything changed. How convenient. It's the truth. His voice cracked. Yes, I hired you for political reasons. But I fell for you because you made me remember why I wanted power in the first place. Not to rule. To help. Elena looked at him. Really looked at him. And saw her own brokenness reflected back. Rebecca says if I don't walk away, she'll leak everything. You'll go to jail. The families will lose their homes. Everything we've built will collapse. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then walk away. What? Take the severance. Protect yourself. I'll handle Rebecca. He stood. I won't let you sacrifice everything for me. Not when I'm the one who lied. He turned to leave. Marcus, Wait. He stopped. Elena stood. Moved to him. Placed her hand on his chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath her palm. I'm not walking away, she whispered. But you're going to tell me everything. No more lies. No more games. Or this ends right now. He covered her hand with his. Everything. I promise. Her phone buzzed again. Rebecca. Your 24 hours start now. Choose wisely. Elena looked up at Marcus. We have one day to save everything. What's our play? They worked through the night in Marcus's office. Coffee cups littered the desk. City lights stretched endlessly below them. Elena's eyes burned with exhaustion, but her mind raced. There has to be something. She scrolled through documents for the 100th time. Some way to protect the families without destroying you. Marcus stood by the window. He hadn't slept. Hadn't eaten. Just stood there, silent and still, like a man preparing for execution. There isn't, he said finally. Rebecca has everything. If we fight her, everyone loses. So we just give up. No. He turned to face her. I give up. You walk away clean. Take the severance. Save yourself. Stop trying to be noble. It doesn't suit you. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. You're right. It doesn't. He moved to the desk. Pulled out a folder. But this might. Elena opened it. Her breath caught. Is this what I think it is? Every illegal deal David's company has made in the last 3 years. Bribes. Zoning violations. Tax fraud. Marcus's voice was cold. Rebecca wants to destroy us? Let's give her a reason to back down. This is blackmail. This is survival. Elena stared at the documents. At the evidence that could destroy David and Rebecca both. At the choice that would make her exactly like them. I can't do this. Then we lose. No. She closed the folder. Pushed it away. We find another way. There is no other way. There's always another way. She stood, facing him across the desk. You taught me that. When everyone said the housing project was impossible, you told me to find another angle. So that's what we're doing. Marcus looked at her like she'd lost her mind. Elena, we're out of time. No, we're out of easy options. She smiled. Your words, remember? Something shifted in his expression. What are you thinking? Rebecca wants to expose you for corruption. So let's beat her to it. Elena pulled out her phone. We call a press conference. Tomorrow morning. You confess everything. The contract buyout. The political motivations. All of it. That's insane. I'll be arrested. Not if we structure it right. You didn't technically break any laws. Daniel bought the contracts. You just made a suggestion. She was pacing now, ideas flowing. But more importantly, you'll control the narrative. Frame it as a reformed billionaire trying to make amends. The public will eat it up. And if they don't? Then you lose everything. But at least you lose it on your terms, not Rebecca's. Marcus stared at her. Then he started to laugh. Deep and genuine and slightly unhinged. You're absolutely crazy. I learned from the best. He moved around the desk. Pulled her close. His forehead touched hers. If we do this, there's no going back. My reputation. My company. Everything I've built. I know. And you're still willing to stand beside me? Elena looked up at him. At this complicated, damaged, impossible man who'd somehow become her second chance. Someone once told me that doing the right thing means fighting for it every single day. She touched his face. So let's fight. The press conference was a circus. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Elena stood beside Marcus at the podium, her hand in his, as he confessed everything. The illegal suggestion. The political motivations. The ways he'd used his power. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," Marcus said into the microphones. "I'm asking for a chance to do better. Starting with full transparency. Starting now." Rebecca sat in the front row, her face twisted with rage. She'd been outmaneuvered. Beaten at her own game. The next 3 months were hell. Marcus's board forced him to step down as CEO. The investigation cleared him of criminal charges but destroyed his reputation. Night Industries' stock plummeted. But the West Side families kept their homes. The Riverside Arts Center reopened with full funding. And Elena's community development initiative became the blueprint for ethical urban renewal. She found Marcus on the roof of Sterling Tower 6 months later. "I thought you'd be at the celebration," she said, joining him at the edge. Not really in a celebrating mood. He looked thinner. Tired. But somehow lighter. "I lost my company today. Board voted me out completely. I heard." She took his hand. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." He smiled. "Turns out losing everything was the best thing that ever happened to me. Now I'm free to build something that actually matters." "Like what?" "I was thinking a nonprofit. Community-focused development. Maybe partner with this brilliant woman I know who has a habit of telling me when I'm wrong." Elena laughed. "She sounds insufferable." "She's perfect." They stood together as the sun set over the city. Two broken people who'd somehow found wholeness in each other's wreckage. "Did you ever hear from Rebecca?" Marcus asked. "No. David left her last month. Apparently, he was cheating with his assistant." Elena shook her head. "Karma's funny that way." "And how do you feel about that?" "Honestly? Nothing. That life feels like it belonged to someone else." She looked up at him. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Marcus pulled her close. Kissed her like they had all the time in the world. "I love you, Elena Thorne. Even though you cost me everything. I love you too. And for the record?" She smiled against his lips. "You cost yourself everything. I just gave you a reason to care." Below them, the city glittered with possibility. Above them, stars emerged in the darkening sky. And between them, something new was beginning. Something real. Something worth fighting for. The end.